This is a follow-up from a video I made on EMV-Engine. More things that I learned and what you can do on Monster Hunter Wilds. But first, let's do a quick check of what I showed in my previous video, and we will expand later on how to do it easily and more stuff. Posing. The easy way to make a custom pose is by saving a gesture from an emote or any animation, like the ones your hunter makes inside camp. The ideal way to save it is by saving it on the general view of your hunter, master player, and looking for the player face children. Posing other NPCs, but here it's a bit tricky, because you need to wait for NPCs to trigger some animations and save it. Or you interact with them. And now, with the water gun, you can make more stuff, or do it on cinematics. Saving objects. Saving an NPC to spawn them. Looking at the NPC's children by identifying body, head and hair, and even accessories, by saving mesh and MDF2 paths. And you can spawn objects like bonfires, chairs, campements, etc. Console. Identifying props or NPCs by console. Typing transforms. Going with FreeCam. And sorting by distance on the desired object you want to save or pose. Unchecking the boxes to see if the stuff you want disappears. Entering the main parent and looking for children and their materials. Now let's begin. I'm going to explain these things in more detail, and the best way to do it, probably, I'm still learning, lol. The best way to get a good start point is by saving by an emote, or any action by pausing the game. And you can pause the game by two methods. But first, let's make this process so that we have more control. Let's open the Reframework interface, look for the scene, set a hotkey to whatever you want, and lower the timescale by 0.100 or 0.50. Never set the timescale to negative because this can lead to a game crash. The value I use is over 0.100 to 70. If you have trouble setting the value you want and feel like the slider moves too much, you can make this menu wider so you can better handle the numbers. As you can see, when you activate the scene option, we'll enter slow motion. This will help us with more precise handling when creating a pose in the middle of an animation. However, this option can cause objects with physics to act in strange ways. An example is the hammock inside the camp, but this doesn't really matter since we'll only be handling character poses. Now we have a great way to control our actions. The next step is the two methods pause. Pause within single player offline mode, and the other is to use the +1 frame mod. Just remember to assign a hotkey. Be aware these two methods have their own problems, but I honestly can't remember them right now, lol. Just keep in mind that you may have problems when you want to take a complex shot that takes a long time. Now, to save poses from gestures. The easiest way to do it is to enter photo mode. Now here comes a problem. What we must do to avoid bugs is to adjust the photo mode camera normally, pointing at our character. Once you have a decent angle, we will open the voice chat menu. This will make our camera stay still. Why do this? When using FreeCam without setting the game camera, and we use the FreeCam option, the normal camera may be facing away from us. Usually, games save resources by not loading things that are out of the camera, and we could see our animations compromised. So remember to adjust the normal game camera in the direction we are. Open the voice chat menu so it doesn't move, and we can start using FreeCam. Now we will open the Collection tab in the Scripts tab. Disable the first two boxes. Enable search by keywords and type Master Player. Set and search or add. We're going to create a file for the poses. Activate timescale and proceed to make gestures. Pause with +1 frame and save the pose. We also proceed to save the face pose. Enter to children, search for player face and save. Also, we should save the hair. To see if we save the pose correctly, we load the pose. Everything looks fine. Now we unfreeze all. Let's check the face pose. If everything is fine, we unfreeze all again and go to the hair. By the way to find out which object we are selecting is by unchecking Enable or go to Materials and look the names. As you see, having control with slow-mo saving gestures in the mid or end of the animation gave us more room to make cool stuff. And when you already have several poses saved, let's do a mix of poses. Let's start with something complex. Let's make our hunter sit down. I'll go with an Alma pose eating. Depending on where you save the pose, this little problem can occur. The character is no longer in front of us. To see where it is, just activate Show Joints. Here you are. We can put our character inside the camera by going to Poses, Local Position, and usually Root, Ground Angle, Camera, Cog, and Hip are values to move our character. Setting the values to 0 will center our character again. I need to do this because the pose I saved was on an eating animation, and position values are a little off with his original position. We go back to Euler Angle and move some numbers on in Hop to make her look at the camera. In a moment, we fix the face and the bust. When loading poses of other characters, the scales actually don't match. So keep in mind, you should also save a neutral pose to fix some parts of our hunter. And, for example, characters like Gemma or the Grand Hub Girls probably don't use the same joints or parts names. But Gemma in particular was the only NPC that almost never worked loading other character face files. Let's save our pose for now before continuing in case something goes wrong. Now, when trying to change the pose of the face, I can't do it within the children poser. Now, we select the face file on the global poser, and voila. Having the files separated will save us a lot of headaches. The next thing we'll do is just move the upper body. But first, let's hide the weapon for a bit. let's start selecting only the upper parts of the body. I'll select from the neck to the arms. I don't want to move his spine for now. The easiest way to select multiple options is by pressing left on and passing the mouse over the boxes. We stop over spine, check load selected, and try other poses. Now, what we can do to make some quick corrections is to reselect in the other tab's Euler angle or local position. Just keep in mind that if you use other characters or NPCs, it can always lead to our character having unwanted proportions. The bad thing is that we'll have to have a file for each thing, the player's body and face, or the faces of the 3 characters you use. Or, if you use tickets, even more, if possible, another file for each type of hair you use, NPCs and their faces and hair, etc., etc. Now let's get the scene ready for a take. And if we use RELit, we can do even crazier things. Now, depending on your preference, you can use the normal camera or the free cam. If you use Disable Post-Processing mode and want to use the photo mode filter, you can enable it by checking again for color correction. Once finished, save the poses just on Freeze All, and that's it. Wow, complicated, huh? Just a little belated warning. I usually explain things very poorly, really poorly. I hope you understood as we move on to the next section. Regarding saving stuff, right now the game, or EMV, when you attempt to spawn more than 3 or 4 objects, you're going to race against time. The game will crash, yes or yes, probably in 20 minutes, 2 hours, or when you change locations. I was trying to do a cool shot on the lake forest, but I wasn't able to do much. My recommendation right now is to work inside the main areas of the game, inside the main campament area where all NPCs are, inside the campament, on the training area and cinematics. Also, another thing that I wasn't able to figure out is the components. In Alex's video, he mentions the best way to work with an object is in the components, saving them to get props working with SFX or NPCs cloth physics. At the moment, when I save SFX or NLight, I can't wake them, but saving the objects normally on wilds lead to game crash because I don't know what components to disable, or the objects appear invisible most times. I can't get any objects loaded with all their children, and I wasn't able to save the entire NPC by parts, body, face, hair and accessories on one saved object. And for other generic NPCs or online player face data meshes, the components menus begin to get bugged. If someone knows how to save entire NPCs or save the correct way to save components on wilds, please leave a comment XD. Another thing I've seen, there's a way to work with Resource Editor to dump game data in order to get the section of animations working. Like DMCV, probably. I know nothing about this stuff. And I don't know how to do it, or if it is possible to do it on wilds with EMV-Engine-SILVER. I already got the RSN wilds, JSundump, and honestly, I don't know if this changes anything LOL, but you still can do really cool things with objects I'll show in a moment. So the best way to look for any object or NPC ID and be able to edit him or save it is by console. Just spawn console, type transforms, and sort by distance with the free cam. Let's begin with this chest. We can work with the chest by console or type his name on collection and add go look for the object material, .mesh and .mdf2 paths, copy and paste on the spawn objects. Remember to uncheck enable box to see if we are selecting the desired object. And there you are. If you want to save the object to spawn it as you want, just go to the Object Explorer tab. This takes like 5 to 40 seconds depending on your machine. Check All and Save Game Object. Now let's see if we saved the object correctly. Just go on Load by name the object you saved and pawn it. Let's do it again with other stuff. It is easy to spawn and save objects, but as I said before, I have no clue on how to save the SFX lights of the objects. When you save the original object, it spawns invisible, with no SFX at all. I can't get the objects to spawn with their children, or I can't wake the effect, so this is the method I use for now. When there are many objects, more than 10 to 20, that are attached to one parent, you should be careful, because just by trying to see the children will lead to a crash. So try to find the desired object on console. Sometimes when spawning stuff, you are going to see a duplicate. The quick way to fix this is by spawning other objects or rescan add them on collection. If you have problems with the objects not staying on the camera, there are two ways to fix this. You grab the object and click Unset on the parent, or grab it and move the position on via. Transforms, when you see the numbers are no longer on 0. The object will stay in the last position you grabbed it in. Another cool thing we can do with any object is you can change its size via Transforms, Local Scale. Similar to MDF XL mode, we can change the color of our armor, disable parts and save it like if it was a mode. More of that later. And depending on the armor vanilla modes, you can layer more armor on your hunter. But like I said before, the game after some time will crash. Take your time to save armor like we've been doing. Mesh and MDEF2. Go to the spawner, put on the parent name Master Player, and check the box, Same Joints Constraint. Let's see how many times we can do it before something happens. Whenever you want to put more armor on our hunter, you need to see what parts you want to disable so we get a good mix. And the little problem is, even on vanilla armor, sometimes the positions don't match at all. You need to balance how your hunter looks. You can kinda recreate the MDF-XL presets that I've done on EMV, but it doesn't have all the options for emissive colors to make the Numenos ver or armor glow. Another little problem you could face is the color of our skin. Whenever we spawn armor, you can work around the UV or color param options, or make a full work by changing textures and saving them. You can put textures of Ranarauga, Manji, or whatever mod you have installed. Another important thing, even if you have already destroyed the objects you no longer will use, the game is still going to crash. But you can spawn more little objects than large ones, like big tables, big structures, medium-sized campements. I tried even lowering the game at the most minimum settings, and the number of large things we can work with is over 4 to 6 medium-large objects. So it is better to grab stuff that is already loaded close to you, or like here on the Grand Hub. Too much time for a simple blend with other armors. Holly, what in the actual I want to explode, oh my gosh, motherfucker. As I said, the ideal way to find any object or NPCs is on console. You should save the ID of any NPCs you'll want to interact on a text file. So we can see we can't freeze Alma because the animation menu bugged out. You can kinda do it if we duplicate the menu as I show, but funny things will happen. Well, freezing Alma kinda works, right? You can always use grab to find her. The good thing is she will restart his animations normally. The bad is even if she stays sitting, moving her probably could lead to she will restart animations and walk away, so probably it's a good idea to save her on objects. Okay, this kinda sounded so bad. More problems. When you want to save Alma or edit her on Poser, sometimes EMV doesn't load all his children like his book or his clothes, even if you have no mods on her. So in order to fix this, reload her by changing his outfit. Just don't close the collection tab. Fixed it. When you already got Save Alma, you can begin to edit or pose her normally. But still, she count like a big complex object. Just her will not crash the game. But if you spawn Gemma or other NPCs, the game will eventually close. With Gemma, you can experience the same bug. EMV, not loading her entirely. You can reload her like Alma by changing his outfit. The good thing about Gemma, Felicia or Lotta, since their positions never move, you can grab them with almost no problems. They don't have an animation path to follow. You should keep in mind, if you load poses, if you change outfits or use mods, EMV can't load her clothes positions. Here, Gemma's jacket is kind of off, so you are going to fix her manually. Well, before finish, let's see what more we can do and where I get some poses saved. But remember, this section is going to be the game-crashing territory. You can save poses or edit them whenever you trigger an eating cinematic. You can even save objects inside here. The problem is, you need to pause it with +1 frame mod at the beginning of any change of camera. If you do it much later, the scene will bug and you can spawn invisible and cannot do anything unless you close the game. Or if you go on the wrong menu, like opening animations, or the components Reframework will bug until you restart the game. You can save stuff or set your shots on cinematics, but the problem's similar like eating cinematics. If you make a little mistake, and your scene will be ruined. Here you cannot use +1 frame or slow-mo, just the normal in-game pause. And checking enable on the NPCs will let them disappear until you restart the cinematic. Similar to MDF XL, you can change colors of armor that normally don't let you, but it's kinda limited, since some armors can only be changed on color palette, and this will limit the final results on how you change colors normally, but you can still make cool combinations. Since I haven't had luck saving or waking SFX, you can do it with stuff around you that already has any SFX active. And with the poser, local position, you can get your hunter out of the map. The problem is the camera will not render stuff normally. And this is what I did to set the intro of the video. I triggered sleep gesture, moved spine and legs, changed local position, and spawned the Dusher plush.